Good morning, everybody. This is Move Easy Yoga Online with Dia. It is August 27. We're going to start with lying on the floor, supine. This is the usual introductory moves that we do. Just start to come into the room, quiet yourself, quiet your mind, or allow the mind to become quiet. Notice your breath, the breath you came in with. Notice the floor supporting you. You could say the Sankalpa, I am a student of my body. And bring your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers or stack your hands at the occipital ridge, the base of the skull. And we're going to do a vagus nerve reset. So everything is still, not moving, except for your eyeballs. Your eyes are open or closed, and you shift your eyeballs to the right. Waiting for an involuntary sigh, swallow, yawn, or gulp. Come back to center. Shift your eyeballs to the left and wait for a sigh, swallow, yawn, or gulp. Come back to center. Just a minute. So repeat this vagus nerve reset move 2 more times, right and left and right and left. Finish up. Keep your hands where they are. And we're going to do some head ramping. So just press the back of your skull into your hands and into the floor. Hold for a couple breaths. And then release. And do that slowly with awareness 4 more times. And if you have rounded shoulders or forward head, you'll want to do this on the hour during your day. You can do it seated also. You don't have to do it supine, seated or standing. Finish up. Bring your hands beside your hips, your torso. For breath work, we're going to do rib cage breathing. First, let's do a little bit of release or massage at where the rib cage meets the diaphragm. So make hooks with your hands and then hook it underneath the bottom of the rib cage, the lowest rib, and start to massage, starting at the center and going all the way out along the rib cage. You're actually massaging and releasing the diaphragm muscle, which gets sticky sometimes. You can go back and forth from the inside, the center to the outside a couple times. This will help your ribcage breathing. And then go ahead and take your hands, make an L, and the thumb goes down around the bottom of the rib cage and the fingers go at the top. This is just so you can feel the expansion when it happens. And take a big inhale and expand the rib cage side to side and back to front. And then exhale. Everything returns, recoils, and then again. Breath work is really important in the age of COVID. Strong respiratory system can help. It can't prevent COVID, but it could help if you get COVID. Finish up and bring your hands beside you. We're going to do a hypopressive for core work. You'll want to do more of these. If you want to work on your core, you'll have to do some of these outside of the class because we don't have time for a whole class of hypopressives. But we're going to do the classic one. Remember, your heels are on the floor, your toes are up toward the ceiling, the knees are bent. And bring your arms up as if you're hugging a tree over your chest and your armpits. And then flip your hands. And now press the hands, the palms up towards the ceiling and press the scapula, the shoulder blades down. So you're activating your whole arm, the arm and shoulder area. And now I'm going to cue 3 breaths and then 10 counts holding the breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath, inhale. Exhale. Complete exhale. No breath. Hold your breath out. 1, 2, spread the rib cage. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale and then exhale. Let everything go. Extend your legs. We're going to do one other hypopressive. Right ankle over left. Bring your arms up overhead again, just like you did before, and then stack them So the right foot is on top and then the left hand is on top. Bring your arms overhead, straight arms overhead. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath, inhale. Exhale. No breath, hold your breath out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale, exhale, unravel and switch sides. Left ankle over right ankle, hands stacked with the right hand on top, straight arms overhand. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, complete exhale. Hold your breath out, no breath. Spread your rib cage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And just unravel, inhale and exhale and unravel, wiggle. And you're going to stay here for a little bit of supine pelvic pelvis and hip work. The first thing we're going to do with your knees bent and your feet on the floor is the 6 directions of motion. We're going to practice the 6 directions of motion of the pelvis. So think of your pelvis. We had a picture of the pelvis last time up on the screen. Think of your pelvis, 2 pieces, one on either side. The high point of the pelvis is called the ASIS. It's the bony landmark that's right in the front. So you can maybe find that because we'll be using it in a minute. And then another point is the high point on the side. So if you go to the side to your waist and find the side of your pelvis, I'll be talking about that too. I'm going to look at Gloria. The sound in my device stopped working. Gloria, you have to check your volume and then go down to the bottom of the screen where there's a speaker icon that probably says mute or unmute on it. And the caret next to it, you're going to have to check your own audio and see what the problem is. Test it, okay? Let me know what happens. Now, let's do the 6 directions of motion. The first 2 are anterior and posterior tilt. So you could put your hands on your fingers on your ASIS or one finger, and then you're dropping, you could think of dropping the tailbone to the floor and then lifting it a little bit up. So you can think of the movement on that end at the tailbone, or you can think of the movement at the top of the pelvis, right up just below your waist. Either way, all you're doing is tilting forward and backward. So there's a neutral position in the middle, and you can use your breath and awareness for the movement. So when the back of your pelvis, the top near the waist, is coming up, that's called an anterior tilt. You don't have to know this though. And when it's coming back and the spine is flattening, that's called the posterior. Posterior, anterior, just do it slowly so that you can become acquainted with this movement and with your pelvis when it's moving this way. And Try to keep your hips still and your torso still. A couple more. I think we lost Gloria. Finish up, stop, come to neutral, a neutral pelvis position. And then put your hands, fingers on the top of the side of the pelvis. We're going to do hip hikes. So you're going to take the right hip and that bone on the side and lift it towards your armpit. The other hip, well, side of the hip, the other side of the pelvis will drop. So just side to side with awareness. Think of what's going on in the inside. What is the pelvis doing here? It's not rotating, it's just moving up along the floor and down along the floor. Okay, Gloria's coming back. And we do this sometimes standing up. I had someone, a new student one time, did this very series, and she told me it was like a life-changing for her. Right after class, she noticed a big difference in her hips. These are very subtle movements, but important. Come back, finish up. We'll do the third set, so the fifth and sixth directions of motion in the pelvis. And that is a rotation from side to side. So you can put your hands back on your ASIS or your fingers and then drop the pelvis, the right side of the pelvis to the floor. The left side lifts a little and then come back to center and drop the left side of the pelvis. So not hiking. So sometimes people get this mixed up or mixed into a hip hike, but you want to be purely just dropping, releasing, and then dropping on the other side. Drop to the back, hip. It's called a rotation because it does rotate. Rotate the pelvis away from the sacrum. Drop, release, switch sides. Think of what's happening on the inside with the pelvis. Try to slow it down so the brain can pick up this pure movement of the pelvis in these 6 directions. And finish up. Rest. See what it feels like now that you've exercised your pelvis in this way. And now we're going to do leg lifts and knee drops, which are a classic pure movement of the head of the femur, the hip bone, at the acetabulum, the hip socket. So starting on the right side, just bring your knee up towards the ceiling to about 90 degrees, and then bring it back down. So I want you to do this about 4 or 5 more times, and do it with awareness. Drop your heel a little bit, Kathy. So you come up into about a 90-degree angle. Drop your heel, drop your heel. There, it's more like that. Okay, and now come back down. Up you go. It's all happening at the hip. It's not, don't think of the knee particularly. I mean, the knee is obviously going to follow the movement of the femur. But up you go. Think of what's happening at the hip socket. What is the femur doing? And a couple more times. Nice. And try not to tilt the pelvis. So the pelvis stays in neutral. And you already know what that means because you just tilted it out of neutral. Switch sides. Leg lifts on the other side. You should feel your core engaged, by the way. Well, to lift that leg. So this is core work, but it's pure movement of the femur, head of the femur at the hip socket. So nothing else should be working, not even the other leg. Go ahead and finish up. And come back, and this time we're going to do knee drops. So the same position, but this time the movement is out to the side. The knee drops out to the side, just one knee. You can't hear me? Huh. I can't hear you. You can't hear me? Oh, hold on. Hold on, my speaker, now can you hear me? No, you can't hear me? Wow. That's weird. Oh, no.
I can hear you.
Oh, someone can hear me?
Colleen, I can.
Colleen can hear me, Kathy can't. Well, then that means, oh, Colleen, can you still hear me? Because I put the speaker back on. Colleen, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I still hear you.
Okay, Kathy, and then it's something wrong at your house.
It's Bobby. I can hear you perfectly, Via.
Okay. Okay. Oh, Gloria says she had to connect her phone to the meeting because she couldn't hear from the computer. That is an option to do both. You know, to set up your phone as well as on Zoom and well, maybe she's only doing it.
Okay, now it's fine.
Oh my gosh. Cool.
Okay.
Welcome to the world of yoga online with Zoom.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I have no clue.
Okay, well, we don't want to spend any more time trying to figure that out once it's fixed.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
Okay, now, we're going to do knee drops. So from the same supine position, just dropping the knee, the right knee out to the right side, keeping the other leg straight up. So don't bring the left leg out. Just keep it bent and straight toward the ceiling. And then come on back, knee drops. So if you feel like the other side of your hip is lifting, you've gone too far because you want to keep your pelvis on the floor. So it depends. Listen to your own body. This is your own exploration. Let's do 5 on one side, Kathy, instead of switching. So out you go, slow, slow, slow. It's not fast. This is not a fast movement. You're teaching a lot of us lose rotation at the hip joint, and this is teaching the body, the brain, to safely rotate at the hip joint. Out you go. Keep keep the pelvis in neutral. And one more time. Out you go. That is not, you may not go as far as Kathy. If you feel something in the groin pulling a muscle, that's your psoas, you've gone too far, because this is an abductor-adductor movement. So you should be feeling the muscles on the inside and outside of your thigh working, but not the hip flexor. Because that would be a flexion movement. We're not doing flexion. Go ahead and switch sides. We're doing abduction and adduction. Remember that the hips are even and stable on the floor. Think of what's happening on the inside. Match your breath to the movement. You can assign an inhale to as you go out or an exhale, it doesn't matter to me. And just come back up and finish up. Bring your right knee towards your face. And then cross over your ankle, your right ankle onto your left knee in front of your left knee. What we're going to do here, there's lots of things you can do here. What we're going to do is a toe handshake. So put either hand, start to thread the fingers between the toes. A toe handshake and an ankle circle. So with your toes, with your fingers threaded between your toes, circle your ankle. So Kathy has to bring her left leg far up in order to do this. You have to. I think that's okay. I think that is okay. So all you're doing is opening the hip, figure 4, and then doing a little bit of foot and toe work, ankle, foot and toe work. One direction and then the other. If you can't keep your left foot suspended, you could put it on a brick. Go ahead and switch sides, figure 4 on the other side. Remember, when you come up with your knee, bring it forward first and then cross over. So you don't want to do the rotation too soon, or you won't do a pure rotation of the hip. You'll be doing something else, maybe an ankle movement. Thread your fingers, either hand, whichever feels right for you, between the toes, and then ankle circles. Feeling. Make sure the circle is at the ankle and not at the front of the foot. Finish up, come up to floor seated to a cross-legged position. You may want to sit on a brick or a blanket. We're going to do side bending. So just starting on the right side, you put your right hand on the floor, maybe slide it out a little bit. The arm comes up and over. So if it's hard, if you have shoulder issues, and this is a hard move, this overhead arm movement is difficult, don't do it. Just do the torso or the thoracic side bend, not the arm movement. Otherwise, arm overhead, just staying here and breathing, keeping the hips on the floor, keeping the knees on the floor. Before you return, bring your elbow towards the front of you and start to feel a stretch in the latissimus dorsi. So this is a totally different movement. Come on back to center and then bring your arm back down. Remember, if you like, maybe I don't know what you're feeling, Bobby, but you might not be able to do the arm part of that side bend. Other side, left arm slides along the floor, right arm up and over. Keep the hips on the floor. Stay here and breathe. Feel the stretch. Even if your arm isn't overhead, you're getting a nice stretch in the torso in the QL. You can move your head from side to side if it feels right. Go ahead and bring your elbow forward. Latissimus dorsi. We're working on the QL now, latissimus dorsi. Bring your arm back overhead and bring your entire body up to seated. And go ahead and keep, let's see here. What am I going to do? I want you to bring both knees up in front of you. We're going to do a spine twist. The knees in front of you. With the right arm, hug both knees with the right arm. Bring the left arm behind you a little or a lot. See if you can get your shoulders parallel to the mat, or to the edge of the mat, and even with each other. May or may not be available to you. So while you're here, I want you to slide the intercostal, the rib cage, from side to side, and see if you can find a little bit more movement in the intercostals, the muscles between the rib cage. This is a variation on a traditional yoga pose that has a little therapeutic piece to it. Not that a twist isn't always therapeutic, by the way, a spine twist, but this one starts to focus on some of the tightness we carry in the intercostals. So if this is hard for you, I'm noticing I'm sitting here with my legs crossed and have my right hand on my left knee. I can do a similar movement that might be more available to people than putting your knees in front of you. In fact, maybe I'll cue it this way next time. But the important part is spine twist and then intercostal slide or ribcage slide. Come on back, you guys. Hug your knees, or if you want to, you can be in a cross-legged position and put your left hand on your right knee. So that's another way to do this. Bring your arm behind you. See if you can get your shoulders parallel to the mat, the end of the mat. May be available, may not, but as best you can. While you're here, slide the rib cage from side to side. So seated, floor seated spine twist, and then rib cage slide. You can turn your head to the right if you want, but if you have arthritis in your neck, maybe you won't want to do that. Maybe you want to turn your chin to the left. Listen to your own body. You are your very best teacher. Let's come on out and do it again. Once the other side. I like this cross-legged position better. I think it's awkward to have your knees in front of you. So then in this case, right hand on left knee, rotate the spine. See if you can get your shoulders parallel to the mat. Or not, do your best, and then slide left to right, right to left. So Kathleen landed in Seattle today. I think she'll be back in class on Saturday. With a new time start. Come on back. Do the other side. Go to the other side. So remember, you can also rotate your cervical spine by turning your neck to the out to the right. But when I do that, I lose my speaker, I think. Slide the rib cage side to side at the end of your spine twist. And come on back. Wiggle and then transition into a stacked knee position. So the knees are pointing forward, and the right knee is on top of the left. You can sit on a brick or a blanket. I love this feeling. Put your hands like on the curve of the side of the foot, press up and see if you can get taller because of this. Keep your shoulders relaxed, but use your hands and your feet. You're actually massaging your feet as well. But from here, we're going to actually take the arms away, bring the arms out in front of you, straight in front of you, palms facing each other, the back of the hands facing each other. And then, but you haven't twisted yet, Kathy. Back of the hands facing each other to start. I think it's much easier to do that way. Then take the right hand up and over in front of the left. Interlace the fingers, bring your hands down and your wrist down and then up. Nice alternative actually to the upper cow face hand position that we also could do. But you're doing, the hips are cow face. Yoga, it's called a cow face position. Drop your wrist if you want, or if you can. Sit up tall. Switch, come out of this, unravel yourself. Release the hands, switch the knees so the top knee is the left knee. I mean, the other thing you're doing on this, besides this, the wrist movement, which probably takes a lot of your attention, is this is a nice hip opener. And it's a nice hip opener for the SI joint, which is a little sliver of a joint between the sacrum and the pelvis. And this can release that. If you have SI joint tension or tension, you can release it with this. Okay, go ahead and sit up tall. Press your hands into your feet first. Sit up tall. Now bring your arms out, palms facing away from each other. Lift the left hand over the right, interlace your fingers, and bring everything towards you, below you, towards you, and then up. And stay here and move. Sit tall. And then unravel yourself and come out of that and come to standing. What are we doing on time? No, let's come to the floor. Sorry, change of mind, change of pace. Come to the floor with a strap when the leg stretches.
Oh, by the way, V, I got your email.
Okay. Good. Goody, goody, goody. So starting with leg stretch 1, these are timed. These are bone building, among other things, actually. Your leg comes up. Remember, your pelvis stays on the floor.
Yeah.
Right leg up to the ceiling. There's a strap. I mean, if you're a seasoned yogin, you may be able to hold on to your toe with your hand. But otherwise, use a strap. And we're going to time and have you stay here for 30 seconds so that the osteocytes can start building bone. It takes about 12 seconds, and then they build bone up to 72 seconds. Literally, there are cells that are activated by loading joints in a particular way, including this way. And they have been proven to reverse and prevent osteoporosis. Go ahead and take your leg out to the outside, the same leg out to the outside. Remember, it doesn't have to go to the floor. And you want to keep your left hip on the floor. So keep the left hip even on the floor. The right hip comes out to the side. You may want to pull on your strap and bring your foot a little bit towards your face, if you can. And we're timing this. You have 8 more seconds. Timing this to be sure that we're building bone in addition to everything else. So come back out of that. Put your strap on the left leg for leg stretch number 1. And we'll time that. So the leg is up toward the ceiling. The leg is as straight as it can be, but it might be a little bent, especially if you have tight hamstrings like I do. And just stay here and breathing and thinking of what's happening here, what's happening at the femur. And now go ahead and put the straps in one hand, the left hand, and bring your leg out to the left. Keep the hips even on the floor. We're timing this too. This is another way to build bone, build new bone, build stronger bone at the hip joint, at the femur, and at the hip socket. So both places. And they're the two of the most likely places to break and fall without some sort of help like this when you get older. Your bones actually start losing their top quality, the highest quality that they had, whatever that was, at about 35, you start losing. Let's do abdominal windshield wipers. You don't need your straps. You stay here though, supine, with your hips on the floor, and then you scoot your hips to the right. Scoot your hips to the right, and then bring your knees up into tabletop. All the way there. And now, using your abdominals and your thighs, bring your knees to the left. Well, as far down as you can. And then bring them back up. Using your abdominals, this is core work. And then going to, let's see, you can do that a couple times. Going back, to center, come out to the side. Come back up. Bring your feet to the floor. Switch, so switch the hips to the left. This is just to make room for this movement to the right. Bring your legs up and drop. Now, if you're already very experienced, if you love this pose, you've been doing it for a while, you can also straighten your legs. You don't have to do this, Kathy. You can straighten your legs and bring them to the side. But keep the feet even. So if the top foot slides forward over the bottom, you've gone too far. Keep the feet and ankles together.
That's harder.
It's much harder. That's why I said you didn't have to do it. Come back to center, drop your feet. Let's do one more time, but we're just gonna do one movement. So hips to the right, and then come up to tabletop, and then knees to left. Use your abdominals when you come back up. Now drop your feet, hips scoot to the left, bring your knees up, and then drop to the right. There are lots of fun variations on this, actually, once you guys get used to this one. Drop your feet, come up to standing, and with 2 therapy balls out of the bag. We're going to do a piriformis movement. So Kathy's going to be on a wall, and she's going to have her back to the wall, and she's going to put the 2 balls in the middle of the buttocks, 1 on each side. You might want to pull your shirt up so that you're rolling on your light lycra.
Okay, hold on. Let me.
All you're going to do, I mean, you can make this pretty fancy. You can make it into a little dance. It's like the hip hikes. It's a little like hip hikes that we were doing on the floor. But your balls are there, and you're sweeping from side to side. Both balls. This is going to be a little tough, actually. You have to press hard enough into the wall to keep the balls there, right? And then you have to, at the same time, as you're creating that compression side to side, and you can do it like a dance. You can lift your hip, wiggle, 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 wiggle. See if you can, yep, there you go. So have fun with that, you guys. This is good for piriformis. This is releasing the piriformis. Piriformis muscle is the muscle that sits on the nerve, the sciatic nerve. So one of the things you're doing is helping prevent or cure, relieve sciatic, the pressure of the piriformis muscle on the sciatic nerve. Finish up and come to the floor for bone back extension and thoracic stretch, prone thoracic stretch before we close the class. I kind of wish I could have, you could have all been unmuted so I could hear any noises you made when you were releasing your piriformis with the therapy balls. Oh, well. You could write in the chat box if you really enjoyed that pose, or tell us afterwards. Lying on the floor, we're going to do level 1 and level 2. I wish I could do it with you. I'm trying to figure out how to do it with you. But I haven't figured it out yet. Arms beside the hips, palms up. And then take an inhale to prepare and an exhale to lift the arms, the chest, the head. Take an inhale and stay here and breathe. You may want to lift your chest up a little bit more if you can. Inhale to prepare to return and exhale, just return to the floor. That's level one. If I were you, I would do this every day in between classes. Now we're gonna go to level two, which is airplanes, arms out to the side. So, but we're gonna start with level one. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift the arms, the chest, the head. So you can drop the chin a little, Kathy, if you want. Think of the head as being in the same position as the headlamp position. Now take an inhale to move into airplane to prepare, and then exhale to move. Stay here, breathe, lift your chest up a little higher if you can. Take an inhale and another exhale. And now inhale to prepare to return, and then exhale, the arms come down and return. Very nice. Just one more before yoga, the yoga meditation, 61-point guided meditation. Arms via your, out in a T. Arms out in a T. Shoulders and arms stay on the floor. And look right, lift your right leg and bring it over across the left leg. You can move your hips. The shoulders should be on the floor. Stay on the floor. Stay here and breathe. This may not be available to you, Bobby. Come on back. Maybe it would be available with a blanket. Look left. Lift your leg. It's great for the upper back. And the leg comes over the opposite leg. Just stay here. The hips can go as high as they want. Believe it or not, this is an upper back movement. This is trying to release the upper back and help it to do its job. It has a lot of work to do. Often it gets tight and doesn't do any work. And then the lumbar, that's why we have such a lower back. So one of the reasons we have lower back issues is because the thoracic spine isn't doing its job. This is going to help. Come on back. Find your way onto your back for 61-point guided meditation. I'm going to stop my video. You can, you may want to put a blanket over you. You may want to put a washcloth or a towel over your eyes. Your knees can be bent or straight. You may want to put a mobility strip underneath your waist if your legs are straight and you have back issues. You may want to put roll a blanket up or a pillow and put it under your knees and extend your legs. So here we are in the right position, your right position. And we're going to start. I'm going to mention 61 points of the body, and you're going to bring your attention to those points. Please do not move your body. Starting with your breath, breathing in and out. And observing your abdomen as it rises and falls. Now bring your awareness to the center of your eyebrows, center of your throat, right shoulder, elbow, wrist, right thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, right wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, left shoulder, elbow, wrist, left thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, left wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, spiritual heart center, right side of your chest, heart center, left side of your chest, heart center, navel center, center of your pelvis, right hip, knee, ankle, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, right ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, left hip, knee, ankle, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, left ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, navel center, heart center, center of your throat, center of your eyebrows. This completes your 61-point guided meditation. Go ahead and start to bring your attention back to the room, and back to your body, wiggling and stretching. You may want to extend your legs and bring your arms overhead, stretching in both directions. Right side, left side, wiggling your toes and your fingers, circling the ankles and the wrists. Hugging your right knee to your chest and then your left. Hugging both knees to your chest and rocking from side to side. Walk from side to side a couple more times and then roll all the way over to the, well, it'll be depend on where you are, right or left. Use your bottom arm as a pillow and stay here for about 10 to 20 seconds. Couple breaths. Use your top hand to bring yourself up to seated. Do not round your back. Find your favorite floor seated position. I am going to cancel the spotlight. You can unmute yourself. I'm going to start my video. I'm going to put everybody in gallery view so I can see all of the little tiles, which is lovely. And you can do that for yourself, but I can't do that for you. Bring your hands into prayer pose. Press your hands together. Your hands have nerve endings, just like the feet, actually, and they love to be stimulated. Those nerve endings love to be stimulated.
Ginger. It's ginger.
Okay, a little bit of family noise. Release your palms. You're still in prayer pose, but just not pressing. Lift the back of your head, the base of your skull, the occipital ridge. Lift it up and then nod forward over the top of your spine. Nodding and bowing to each other, recognizing the light in each other and ourselves. Knowing, acknowledging that we are all spectacular lights, and that we are all one light. We bowed already. We're gonna close the class by saying to each other, from this bowed, respectful position, namaste.
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 Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank
Thank you.
Good class.
And then